Hey there, Proteanview. I just caught your video about advertising. Really felt like I needed to respond to it. Excellent, excellent observation. And as someone who's actually worked for the evil empire of advertising and has thought about it a lot since then, I wasn't like part of an advertising agency. I just helped write some ads for a small convenience store chain in the Northeast. But I mean, still, I think about that, and it was both exciting and fun, but it was also weird to be involved in this process of kind of blatant manipulation. And since my field of study was rhetoric, which is like the academic study of persuasion, mostly in politics and advertising, I've done a lot of thinking about this. And I think that there's a level of sophistication now to advertising that people are completely unaware of. And I think the most important thing you need to be aware of is that there's this large psychological component to advertising now. The scariest part is the fact that a lot of this is targeted at children, because it's all about shunting them into a particular franchise early on. And of course, you have these studies that show that very, very young children, like as young as 2 and 3 years old, already are starting to recognize many corporate logos. There was a woman who came and spoke to our school recently, passed out this list of logos with just blanks next to them for people to fill out the stuff and who those logos represented. And she said that those things had been given to typical middle schoolers, and almost all of them were able to fill out all but a couple of them, whereas most of the adults in the room had trouble filling out even half. Most of them didn't even do that well. And it just shows that as Zogby has pointed out recently, I mean, the people who are growing up now are the most marketed to people in history. He's a little bit more optimistic about it. He tends to think that this is making them more cynical, but I don't know. Maybe I think he might be underestimating even he, as smart a man as Zogby is, I think might be underestimating the level, the degree of sophistication that's there in terms of psychological manipulation of people. Because I don't think our tools, the tools that we're giving our children or even the adults in our society are at all keeping up with the tools of psychological manipulation. And I see these things everywhere, because I tend to think of things in terms of communication and in terms of power structures, just the way my academic background has kind of taught me to look at things. And when I look around now, looking in terms of power and communication, I see nothing but danger. I see nothing but danger in our entire society. I mean, I see a society that is very self-deluded, that is is very divorced from the reality of our day-to-day existence. And a large part of the reason for that, I think, can be laid at the feet of advertising and this whole process of psychological manipulation of the American public. So I think you're very right. I think you're very right in your assessment of calling this brainwashing. And I'm not sure whether we need to ban it, but I absolutely think, and because this helps us with other problems as well, is there needs to be a whole new emphasis in our education system on critical thinking, on figuring out how to evaluate various proposals or various products or anything. Because, I mean, once you have these tools, that they end up being invaluable to you in every aspect of your existence, whether you're, trying to pick a president or an underarm deodorant. It doesn't matter. The same critical thinking tools will help you to evaluate both. But the one thing that I think absolutely does need to happen is we need to stop this really gross, disgusting, manipulative marketing to children. I mean, I think there's a special place in hell for people who come out of a psychological background and then go to work for these Madison Avenue advertising firms and are trying to figure out how to use your child's secret wishes and dreams and even their developmental stages to sell them the latest Hannah Montana lunchbox. I mean, I think that is the lowest, creepiest, rottenest thing that you can do as a human being on this planet, with the possible exception of designing advanced weaponry to kill people. And even then, I mean, that's at least a clean death. It's not like you're poisoning their minds and stunting their intellectual and psychological development. Better to put a bullet in them, in some respects, than to fuck them up forever. So I think there needs to be this really strong emphasis, and it has to happen in, I think, all layers of society, because I think giving these tools to children without giving the same tools to grown-ups so that they could help their children to understand the world around them is equally useless. So I think our whole society needs to have training in how to see through bullshit, because right now we believe in a lot of bullshit in this country. Lots and lots and lots of bullshit. And we don't have to. I mean, if we had critical thinking skills, we could see through it, and we could be, thinking and talking about solutions to our economic woes, our political woes, our societal woes that would actually make sense. But while we continue to live in this dream world that advertisers and public relations officials continue to create for us, we're not going to get realistic solutions to the problems that we have, because our dream world solutions won't work in the real world. Anyway, this is Zach Elliott, and you can certainly feel free to argue.